Welcome back, my dudes. Hello, it is so good to see you. Hi, welcome. Anyways, my name is Lemons Not Limes. This is another episode of Playing with Palettes. I'm so happy that you're here tuning in with me. Words are hard. I struggle with words quite a lot. Anyways. Yeah, let's just go. Whee! Alright, okay. Here we are, back at blockpalettes.com. Y'all know it. It's beautiful, ain't it? Beautiful. I love this website. Highly recommend go check it out. Alright, so we have today 1,308 pages, and we are going to be going to page 428. Bada bing, bada boom. And then we're going to be doing palette number, if I can press the button, 9. Okay. What's the do with this, my dudes? Awesome. 428. Palette number 9, 3, 6, 9. Homeboy, this looks so familiar to me. Maybe it's just kind of more one of those generic block palettes when Amethyst came out. But I feel like I've done this before. IDK, I don't know. But anyways, it's got calcite, one of my favorite blocks in there. So sweet. Okay. I think we could work with this. All right, my homie. So the blocks we got today, we got the amethyst, the calcite, the cobblestone, the spruce, the dark oak, and the deep slate. I swear, y'all. I swear I've used this before. Maybe it's just extremely similar to this one build I'm thinking of. We gotta go down the line. Hold up. Just be patient with me. Be patient. Okay, it's not that one. No? Oh, that one's so close. Maybe that's the one I'm thinking of. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's close. But that ain't it. Okay. I gotta fly all the way back. Well, here we are again, my dudes. This build was really interesting, okay? It was quite fun doing, I'll admit, but it was really frustrating. There was a lot of things going on. There was a lot of back and forth. I actually built like an entirely different build. Hated it. Built this thing instead. Hated the interior of this. Had to rebuild that. Forgot to use a block that was in the palette. And, had to just kind of throw it in there because at the end of it, because that was just how it was. And it kind of worked out. I actually did. It worked out in the end. But holy cow, people. It was insane going through this. So, yeah. This build was rather interesting and honestly kind of a roller coaster of building. I really like this palette. I'm just going to say this first and foremost. I really, really like this palette. I thought it was just absolutely beautiful. I love the amethyst in it. I think amethyst is such a great block, and I wish I used it a little bit more in builds. I don't know. Well, actually, I do know why I don't. Like, it's such a great block, but the thing about it is really striking, right? It has very vibrant colors, a very specific pattern to it. And so it can be hard to use, But the other blocks in this palette really complemented it. And so it was just awesome to be able to use it. Because, again, I think it's a great block. I think it's a great color and all these things. Anyways, lots of different things. Lots of different random things. You don't really need to know, right? But I loved going through this build. It was really fun to try to build. I went through this library kind of vibe is what I wanted to go for, and so I loved filling the place up with books and different plants and things like that. I definitely wanted to go for this like enchanted kind of cozy vibe with the plants and with the lanterns and the candles. I wanted it to feel enclosed and cozy and just kind of magical. And that's also one reason why I like the amethyst block, because it does bring this magical feeling to it, especially when you use the whites and the spruce and the dark, the dark oak. Like, it just, there's something about this palette that is very magical. I think, my wizard tower in my intro, I do remember that in my intro, I was like, I'm pretty sure I used this before, but I used it on my wizard tower build because it just kind of has this magical feeling. And again, I think I attribute that to the amethyst block because I think it just makes it feel magical and just really, really cool, you know? But, anyways, in this series, one thing that I have been striving to do and working hard on is to have tips for builders like you and me. Um, Tips that can be helpful, tips that might just be insightful. I want to try to do practical tips, I want to try to do impractical tips, if that makes any sense. But I want to do things that will be able to help anyone who's kind of at my level or just beginning on building, to be better. And I think that's one thing I've really been trying to get with this series and trying to focus on more. So I guess that brings me to, what tip do I have today? Do 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 do. I don't know what that jingle was. That just came out of nowhere. I loved it. I will not remember it. Anyways, I'll be honest, I'm not really sure. Kind of, again, going through this build, like, there's a lot back and forth and things like that. But there are a couple things that come to mind, and nothing is like super concrete. I'm gonna preface with that, like, it's not super concrete. But this is just kind of a couple things that was going on in my mind while I was creating this build, while we were doing it together. You were there in spirit. I felt it. Anyways, the first tip I want to bring up is to be patient. Okay. I have mentioned this before, right? Being patient and how patience is important, yada yada, all that stuff. But you know what? I'm going to just start off and say I am not the best at being patient. I am not. I thought I used to be, but really I am not. I'm a very much don't think, just go kind of person. And I need to get things done right away, right here, right now. I like to think it's enthusiasm, but it's really not. Anyways, building is hard for me because it does take a lot of patience, especially if you want something to look good. And right, again, don't think, just go. I want it done now. I want it to look good now. But being patient in building is incredibly important because it takes time for things to get good and takes time for you to master your craft. But like I said, I've talked about this before, so I won't go into super much detail, but that sentence made so sense, but you know what I'm saying. But the second thing I do want to talk about is something that I haven't really talked about before, but is being frustrated. So like I said in the beginning of this whole little spiel thing, I started off building something else. I didn't like it. I built this thing. I didn't like the interior. I forgot the palette. I forgot all these things. And so I was getting really frustrated with this build. Like the interior wasn't working how I wanted it when I kind of was working on different things, and just it was very frustrating for me. Let me tell you though, like that's just how things is. When you're building or doing anything creative, you're not gonna like it. You're gonna get frustrated at the process, and it's expected. Like that's just what's gonna happen, The process of building can be a long and tedious one, especially if you aren't feeling inspired with something. It can be so hard to kind of get into that vibe of, well, what do I want to build, and how should this look, and what about this and that? And it's so frustrating when it doesn't come to you right away. Like, I know, especially for me, things can come to me very easily. Like, I can see something and be like, oh, I'm gonna build this, and this is how it's gonna look like. Here are the blocks and blah blah blah. And then when that doesn't happen, gosh, I get so upset because it's like, oh my gosh, it's like, this was easy, but now it's not. And so it kind of sucks. But that's just life, right? That's just building. That's what happens when you're being creative. It's difficult and it's frustrating and you want to pull your hair out, but it's part of the process, and it's especially part of the process of getting better. Like right now, if you're like me, if you're just starting out with building, even if you're like a professional builder and you're like super good at it, like it's a process. It takes time and you're not going to be the best right away. And again, that's super frustrating, but that's life, baby. That's life. But, that's my little tip today. I just want to make sure that you know it. You're prepared for it when you go into it because, a lot of people can make it seem easy, but it ain't all the time. So anyways, yeah, that's all I got. The end.